See, the very first thing that needs to happen is we need to decentralize government and decentralize the banks. You can't have a central oligarchy, i.e. Washington's district of criminals, calling the shots for everybody. I mean, they're making national mandates. That is antithetical to the 10th Amendment. Whatever's not given to basically Washington by the Constitution is reserved to the states and to the people respectively. If you just respected that, yeah, that's still government and it's still nonsense and it's still illegitimate, but at least it's manageable. Like, you don't have a federal bureaucracy. At least if things were bad in New Mexico, you could go to Texas or you could go north to Montana. You know, if it's a federal mandate, you can't escape it unless you want to go somewhere overseas or Canada or Mexico. So if we decentralize government, that'd be the first step, is whittle it down. No, the government, no, the president cannot rightly constitutionally create an executive order 6102 to take everybody's gold from them or impose a 10-year or $10,000 fine under FDR. That's what it was, Executive Order 6102. It was a federal mandate. That's a violation of the 10th Amendment. He sat there or stood there on the Capitol steps, put his right hand, a left hand on Bible and his right hand toward heaven. He said, I promise I will execute faithfully execute the duties of the President of the United States. I will uphold the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And here he goes violating. If that was all that was wrong with FDR, is that he created Executive Order 6102, that's enough to mark him as a tyrant, man. But there's way more than that. Okay, there's way more than that. But the 10th Amendment restrains the President of the United States and constrains him. He can't go outside of those bounds. That's what was wrong with Abraham Lincoln. He didn't respect the 10th Amendment. He thought he could make it a national edict to keep the Union together. Yeah, right, whatever. Keep the Union together and then promote a false flag over there at Fort Sumter, which he did under Captain G.V. Fox. Look it up, guys. He provoked an attack at Fort Sumter. He made them attack. That was the false flag that started the Civil War. Lincoln was a tyrant. He couldn't keep to himself. He couldn't say, hey, let's just make this whole thing better. No, 614,000 lives later, and now we got this guy on the back of a penny. He's on the $5 bill. He's got a huge memorial, ugly, gaudy memorial, expensive memorial in Washington's District of Criminals, and rightly so, because he was a criminal, a big-time criminal. Not to mention, man, when people were speaking against Lincoln, he had them imprisoned. Even newspaper writers and journalists in the North were being thrown in prison because Lincoln didn't like what they were saying. He was against the First Amendment. He was against the 10th Amendment. He was against the Fourth Amendment, the right to be secure in your person's houses, papers, and effects. These guys are all tyrants, guys. When you grab the ring of power, something happens to somebody, their mind. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Well, Lincoln and FDR and Donald Trump and Bill Clinton, they all acquired the ring of power. It went to their heads. They're controllers and they're being controlled. They're just freaking puppets.